the questions that we have is, how does CWOW operate? That people want to know, do I do this full time? Is this a top-down structured organization where, Apostle John or something gets all the tithes and offerings? And so I thought I'd share for a couple minutes on that. And you should know that the essence of house church comes from Mark chapter 10, 42 through 46, where Jesus said, the Gentiles lord their authority over one another, but Jesus said, it shall not be so among you. Whoever wants to be the greatest, let him become the servant of all. So we are not a top-down organization. House churches that are affiliated with us are independent. Most of them have their own bank accounts. We encourage them to take care of one another. But we find the same pattern in Acts chapter 2, and really, the Bible really is our manual. In Acts chapter 2 through chapter 4, we see them taking care of one another so that none of them had any needs. But they also gave to the apostles and to leadership for distribution there as well. And so what we find is, as our network grows, is house churches are taking care of one another. But many of the people do provide offerings to us every month. That's how my wife and I live, off the offerings that come in. We don't have anything that's demanded or required. We believe that if people are walking with the Lord and we're in relationship and in contact with each other, then they'll do what's right and we'll do what's right. And we just believe that there's an exchange there as part of the relationship. Paul had this relationship that he illuminated on a little bit in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, where he said, if I sow into you spiritual things, why is it so hard for you to think that you should sow into me natural things? And so we visit, that we're setting up more and more technology to visit both in person and video conferencing and things of that nature that we're working on. But the basics of it are that each house church is independent and yet part of a larger network. The pattern is actually that of the Apostle Paul, who had a hand in starting churches in Corinth and Ephesus and the region of Galatia, Thessalonica, Philippi, etc. Many of these are different cultures, Greek culture, Roman culture, Jewish culture, Gentile culture. And so Paul really had a network that he traveled between the different churches and he wrote to them, and we do the modern upgrade of that, which is including travel, but also emails, phone calls, conferencing, Skype for the internationals, just whatever we can do to facilitate the relationships. And so the way CWOW operates is more out of the strength of relationships and the fellowship of like-minded people. Because I'm not a very top-down person at all. I really believe that what Paul said in 2 Corinthians 1:24, I believe that's right, is the right scripture, is accurate, where he said this. He said, not that we would lord over your faith, but rather we're helpers of your joy. And that's what my heart is.